Golfers, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is well. In today's video, we're going to talk about 4 key checkpoints that you can adhere to within the backswing and making sure that you're getting the club in the right position. This video is on behalf of one of my Instagram followers who's struggling with backswing checkpoints. What we're going to do is we're going to break this down into 4 different components, then we're going to simplify it and make it as easy as possible to understand. So what we see here is I've got a couple of alignment sticks set up. I've got an alignment stick set up on my feet line and also my ball to target line that's heading towards the second hole on the right here, and I'm going to talk about 4 checkpoints that you can look at when you set up to the golf ball. When we set up to any iron shot, it's really important we establish where we need to position the golf ball because that affects our angle of attack and also our low point. So I've got 7 iron here. When we set up to any golf shot, it's really important that we establish a base. So I'm going to move my feet so my feet are shoulder width apart. I'm going to get the ball position in between both feet. It's really important my stance is in line with my shoulders, my hips are in line with my feet. We see quite a lot of golfers who get relatively wide with their feet get outside their hips. Try and keep your feet inside your hips. And then from here, when we set up to the golf ball, our hands should be relatively level with our belt buckle. So you're aiming the club face towards your intended target. Your feet, hips and shoulders should be at the same angle. Feel like your hands are a little bit more ahead at address, so the grip end of the club, instead of pointing towards your belt buckle, is slightly ahead, so it's pointing inside your left leg. Now as we set up in the takeaway with the shafts parallel to the ground in P2, the club shaft should match the angle of my toe line. From here, the club head should be slightly outside my hands. Don't get the club head too inside compared to your hands. Checkpoint we need to focus on is the shaft should be parallel to the ground, so the shaft should match the angle of your toe line. The club face should match the angle of your spine. Don't get it a little bit too open, don't get it too close, try and get it to match the angle of your spine. Club head should feel a little bit outside your hands if you're somebody that gets the club head working a little bit too much inside compared to your hands. I feel from here that my left shoulder is going to move down and across. I feel like my right hip's going to go back. Upper body's turning a little bit more compared to my lower body. As my left arm gets parallel to the ground, I feel like my weight starts to move into my right side. I've got a little bit weight shift into my right side. I feel like my right hip's going up and back. The grip end of the club should point in conjunction with my ball to target line, so the outside alignment stick. Then as we get to P3, left arm parallel to the ground, the grip end of the club should point towards my ball to target line. Hands and in the middle of my chest, if not favouring my right pectoral muscle. My right shoulder's working up and back. My hands are over the angle of my shoulders. Feeling my upper body starts to initiate this motion compared to my lower body. Then as I get to the top of the backswing, the right elbow stays in front of my body. So if you look at your right elbow and the seam line in the right side of your rib cage, the right elbow never gets too far behind the right side of the rib cage. We want the right elbow to stay in conjunction with your right hip. As we get left arm parallel at the top, the grip end of the club is pointed straight down towards my right heel. That's a great feeling that's going to help us create depth. So the grip end of the club is went from ball to target line, then towards my heel line. P3, grip pointing towards ball to target line. P4, grip now points in conjunction with my right heel. I feel like my right shoulder's working up and back, left shoulder's working down and across. Hands as far away from your right shoulder as possible. Grip end of the club pointing down towards your right heel. The club at the top should point slightly left of target. We see a lot of golfers who get the shaft where the club head gets too far outside their hands. The left wrist gets really cuppy, so really try and focus on get the club to the top, check in that the club head should match the angle of the grip. Don't let that club head get too far to the right at the top. Feel like the club head gets a little bit more to the left, so the feeling would be the club's a little bit more laid off. The club face matches the angle of your left wrist. If I get really cuppy, that's going to cause the club head to point a little bit right at the top. So really work the club back. Hands should match the angle of your shoulder plane. Hands are as far away from your head as possible. Grip end of the club straight down towards your heel line. We feel like the club's pointing a little bit more left at the top. To initiate that is feel like the back of the left wrist points a little bit more towards the sky. Face matches the angle of your left wrist. The elbow a little bit more in front of the side of the rib cage. Shaft should feel like it's a little bit more laid off at the top if you're somebody that gets across the line and steep. Keeping that right elbow in front of your body at the top. Don't pull the right elbow back too much where we get that right shoulder too much internally rotated. So working the club back, shaft parallel to the ground, club head matching the angle of your spine. Club head a little bit outside your hands. Left arm parallel to the ground. Grip end of the club should point straight down towards your ball to target line. Hands should be in line with your right pectoral muscle. I feel like my left arm's a little bit more connected to my chest, and also my upper body's creating a little bit more rotation compared to my lower body. Shoulders working down across. My right shoulder's moving back the way. Then as we get to P4, grip end of the club should point straight down towards my heel line. I feel like my hands are as far away from my head as possible and as far away from my body. The ultimate feeling from here would be trying to feel like your right arm's a little bit straight at the top. Many golfers get the right arm too narrow. We want to feel like our right arm's a little bit straight at the top, and we feel like we create a 90-degree angle. Left arm pretty much matches the angle of your shoulders. We're a little bit more laid off. How does that look? Left arm's a little bit more connected to your chest. The club head feels a little bit more left off target at the top. Strengthen that face, then keep the right elbow in front of the right hip. Really feel as we start down, the left arm stays connected to the chest, and also the right arm always stays behind the left arm. So if you struggle with contact issues, we create the width going back, keep that right arm a little bit straight at the top. That's a great feeling. Then as we come back down into impact, the right elbow always stays in front of the right hip. Struggling with your backswing, there's our 4-step guide that's going to help you achieve a little bit more success in the backswing. You need to sequence those movements. It's going to help you coordinate your golf swing in a better and efficient manner. If you've got any thoughts or any questions regarding that video, please feel free to comment below. Like and subscribe, that would be much appreciated.